Okay, so after spending maybe a month on and off figuring this out, this is how to set up the Plutus playground within VS Code and WSL. Forgive me because I have to do a voiceover. I used the wrong microphone the first time, so this may be a little bit awkward. I'm basically going to explain the dependencies that you need and then walk it by you line by line and point out uh, just a handful of little tips I didn't see in any other tutorial. So, assuming you have VS Code already, just go to extensions. You need at least two. So you need the Haskell extension, and then you need the remote development extension. And that's what that looks like. All right, so I'm using Ubuntu WSL, and my first tip for you is that you may have WSL 1 by default. I should have put this first, but halfway through the video I'll show you how to switch versions. One thing that's important to point out, you may have to change your VS Code default settings to make WSL default instead of PowerShell, or it may be kind of annoying for you every time you make a new terminal. Alright, looks like I'm just flubbing through the installation of the required dependencies, so you can ignore the next few minutes, but basically I'm installing Npm if you don't already have it. And then you also need curl, and then you use a curl command to install Nix, and then you use Nix to build Plutus. So here I'm just Googling the NixOS website and showing you that one curl installation line. The link to the site will be in the description. Alright, so when Nix installs, don't forget to enter that command that it recommends, that /home command. Sorry, this is a terrible dub. I think what I'm doing is I'm explaining my next tip I didn't see in any tutorial, and that is the fact that WSL doesn't really work well with Plutus when you do it inside of a Windows control directory. So if you're using the /mnt/c/users, you might run into problems later on. So before you clone Plutus, make sure that you get out of there and choose your own directory within the Linux system. Alright, and this is just the part where you clone Plutus, but I'm not even going to finish the command line because I've already cloned it, and those instructions you probably have. If not, they'll be in the video description. Alright, so next there's this one command that a Linux pro taught me that you may want to check out. I think I'm about to get to it in the video. System profile refresh. Here I'm just going through the nix build command. Flailing around with my mouse a little bit. Yeah, so I'm looking for this command, but this system refresh command, you may or may not need to type it as the first thing you do when you run a new terminal. There, source // .profile. So it doesn't really hurt, but try entering that every time you go into the terminal. Obviously this is a terrible dub over, I'm sorry about the editing. Alright, so here's where I'm editing the nix.conf file under etc/nix. You probably saw that in other instructions, and you definitely do need all 4 lines that you see here in the nix.conf file. I'm going to share a link to the page in the community documentation that I found this in. Basically, the official Plutus Pioneer program site has only 2 lines of that particular nix.conf file. So that is the Plutus program GitHub page binary cache warning, and you'll see there's only 2, but for this iteration of the Plutus program, I found that you need to go to there you go. So this is a Plutus docs community page. I found it really helpful. You don't need to use all of those instructions, but that's where you find the nix.conf file and the nix build command and a couple of other lines you need. So here I'm pointing out that you might want to try ignoring the .components.library portion of that command on the first time around. Just stop at Plutus-core, and if that doesn't work, then try the whole line. Alright, so Control X to get out of the editor. And I believe next I'm going to point out that there's a second recommended location to put that nix.conf file. So I think what I'm going to do next is add a just a copy command. And that goes into the tilde slash dot config folder, I believe. Yeah. Hopefully that line's not too hard to see for you. I'm realizing I could have made this video like half the length that it is, so I'm sorry. Alright, so here's that portion that I probably should have put first, like I warned you about, checking and changing your version of WSL. So if you go into Windows PowerShell, eventually in this video you'll see there's only two commands that you need to know. There's one for listing the distros and the WSL version they're mapped to, and then the command for changing that version. So the first time around, my Ubuntu was actually running version 1, and everything else seemed to be working fine, but I got really weird errors at the very end, and this was the reason for that. So the second command I'm about to type, you may have to edit it a bit to specify the name of your distro, but this is pretty much what it is. There you go. Okay, so you're all done checking WSL. Just exit out of there. And again, that was done out of order, so maybe don't have VSCode running when you do that. Okay, so here I think I'm about to just explain how the Nix folder they tell you to make, there's a chance that it does not come with write permissions included. You may need to change the owner and the group as well, and you may need to do a chmod, or else you might have some errors later on that say something like, this file cannot be renamed. Again, terrible dub over, sorry about that. Okay, so I think we're going into the playground portion now. You need to do the Nix build command like I said before. Try it without the components library part at the end. And then hit Nix shell. Okay, so that's me pointing out that PowerShell might be set as your default terminal type. When you add a second terminal with the plus or the drop-down, VS Code is going to ask you which open project folder you want to start the directory in. It doesn't matter because you need to change back into the Plutus directory no matter what anyway. Now, regarding having the Plutus environment plus the Plutus program code plus your own personal working directory, you go to File and then Add Folder to Workspace. I don't know what I'm doing here, just moving the mouse around a bunch. Oh yeah. So select both terminals and then right click and then click join, so you can see them both at once. On the left hand side you see the Nix shell successfully run. Just ignore that. I'm about to explain this npm audit command. So yeah, you have to actually go into the Plutus Playground client folder and then start the Plutus Playground server. Now on the right side, I have I'm doing Nix shell again. Terrible. I'm doing terrible editing over here. Alright, so that's what the Playground server looks like on the left side when it's running correctly. It may look slightly different for you. Now I'm running Nix shell on the right hand side. And I believe it's at this part that if you're still running into problems, you can run this command called Npm Audit, which can explain whether you have some dependencies that you need to install separately and individually. Hopefully you don't need to do that. Worst case scenario, I've found that Npm Audit Fix sometimes fixes everything, and then worst case scenario npm audit fix -- force, and like a genius I added this video overlay here so it's impossible for you to see the command. So sorry about that, but you should not have to do npm audit fix. That's just it did help me get through a bottleneck. On the right, you're seeing npm start working properly. You may find these different dependencies, this different dependency output, you may find that you have different lines. And Monaco editor and things like that, you may have to install separately, but that's what npm audit fix force is for. Again, try to go through the instructions without that command. Okay, almost finished. The last line that you should see in your terminal on the right side would be something like build succeeded. Compiled with warnings, that's it. Alright, so now you should be good to just go to your browser of choice. https localhost:8009. You're going to come up against some sort of warning about the SSL certificate being invalid or something. Just click advanced and continue. Voila. Okay, so one easy thing that I've seen a couple of people miss is they actually forget to copy the auction code and replace the default code with that. Again, terrible video editing here, but you're going to see me copy the Plutus program code from GitHub desktop, but it's not going to work the first time because I edited it. And then in a few seconds, you'll see me try again just by copying the code as is from the Pioneer program GitHub page. Yeah, so if you see this compilation error, just go to GitHub, copy and paste it from there. Okay, this is where I give up and go straight to the GitHub page. Copying and pasting everything. And click compile. All right, so pretty shortly, you're going to see a compilation successful message on the bottom left side, and after that, you click the blue simulate button. And from that point, you should be able to follow Lars exactly as he walks you through a couple of scenarios. All right, I hope this helped at least one person get through the Lesson 1 environment setup. Thanks, everybody.